Hi, I'm Matt Ryan in Albany. By now you've heard about the controversy surrounding the name of the new bridge that connects Westchester and Rockland County. The new span to replace the old Tappan Zee Bridge was named after the late Governor Mario Cuomo. But the process of how that name change came to be and the fact that it was changed at all has caused a lot of anger for residents in the lower Hudson Valley. In the wee hours on the last day of the legislative session, the state assembly was finishing up passing the last batch of bills, one of which would do something that had been rumored for a while, a renaming of the Tappan Zee Bridge to honor Andrew Cuomo's father.
I want to at least stand and recognize the enormous contributions made by Mario Cuomo. He was a hero of mine, and I'm proud that this bridge will bear his name.
I just don't think that it's an appropriate thing to do to take a bridge that is well-known, well-regarded, well-respected name on that bridge and strip it for what appears to be and certainly looks like ego.
The name change was a small part of an omnibus bill that passed around 1 a.m. in the assembly. Normally, a name change to a bridge doesn't cause too much controversy. It's been done a number of times in New York City in recent years. The Brooklyn Battery Tunnel was renamed for former Governor Hugh Carey. The Queensboro Bridge was officially changed to honor Ed Koch, and the Triborough is technically called the Robert F. Kennedy Bridge. In August, a celebration was held during the opening of the first span of this new bridge, now with a new name.
The Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge. I think I'll say it again. Doesn't that sound good, Matilda? The Governor Mario M. Cuomo Bridge.
My father does smile down on us, for we together have dared to dream once again, and we together have worked hard to turn those dreams into reality, and we have succeeded.
Former Governor Malcolm Wilson had his name added to the original bridge in 1994, but it has commonly been referred to as the Tappan Zee. Change has been met with some resistance. A Siena poll this summer found nearly half of those surveyed oppose the move. Monroe Mann Jr. fits into that category.
There's so many reasons why this shouldn't be the Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Mann, a Westchester County native, was so bothered by the name change that he started a petition at change.org about a month ago, and the response has been significant.
Hollis of Tarrytown writes, "I'm sick of landmarks being named for politicians. We're losing the history and the sense of place." Mary Snyder writes, "It's the Tappan Zee. Keep politics away from its given name." After just a little over a month, more than 102,000 people have signed on. Before I know it, we blew past 7,000, blew past 10,000, 40,000. The Journal News got involved, CBS, all the other media, and it surpassed 100,000. I think it clearly sends a message that what happened was done without input from the public. It was like a 70-page bill, and this was one item. And if they voted no, all of the other important stuff would be voted down. And so I feel like Republicans and Democrats, whether they believed the bridge should remain or not, had no choice.
Mann's petition has caught the attention of not only residents and local media, but a local politician as well. Republican Assemblyman Kevin Byrne, who represents parts of Westchester and Putnam County, filed legislation this week that would change the name back to the Malcolm Wilson Tappan Zee Bridge.
Look at that petition. You can see who has signed it. Look at the people that represent that area. I can tell you, we're all getting phone calls about this. And there was just a recent article in one of our local papers here in Putnam County where two Democratic chairpersons spoke out.
Along with the petition, Mann has started a GoFundMe page where he hopes to raise around $8,500. He says if that happens, he'll then take his message on the road.
We want to plaster this state with the voice of the people. The mission is to get billboards, to get lawn signs, T-shirts, bumper stickers. There are still hundreds of thousands of people in the state that have no idea that the bridge name has changed.
In fact, if you drive around the area near the bridge, you might not even know the name has changed. All of the signage still calls it the Tappan Zee Bridge. That's expected to change at some point next year. The governor said in November at a stop in Sullivan County that the petition was hurtful. Mann, a lawyer, stressed multiple times in our interview that this is not political and not meant as a personal knock against Andrew Cuomo or the memory of his father.
All I want is that bridge, which our taxes paid for, and which the people on both sides of the Hudson have made clear is ours. It's not for a politician to name after a family member. God bless him. Rest in peace, Mario Cuomo. May have done wonderful things for the state, but this is not the time or the place or the venue for some type of memorial to Mr. Cuomo.
What if it was called the Governor Mario M. Cuomo Tappan Zee Bridge?
I think everybody, politics is compromise. We all know that. Maybe it shouldn't be, maybe there's right and wrong, this or that. I think the right thing to do is just call it the Tappan Zee Bridge. But in the interest of compromise and to let Andrew Cuomo know that, look, I'm not doing this to get Mario's name off the bridge. If he magnanimously would listen to the people and say, hey, I hear you guys and I represent all of you, if he would rename the bridge the Cuomo Tappan Zee Bridge, people are going to love him. I will have the greatest respect for him if he would do this for us.
Governor Cuomo hinted earlier this year that the official signage would likely be introduced around the time on what would have been his father's birthday. That means we might see some new signs and likely a ceremony of some sort around mid-June. For Metro Focus, I'm Matt Ryan in Albany.